Speaking of 2-1, what is this thing? What is this thing? It's an I-10 startup move, which means it's one of the fastest moves in the game. It's unfortunately really short-ranged. And if you notice, fucking Tekken animations, man. So you see how Fang is breathing and his shoulders are going up and down? If I hit 2, when he, like at the apex of his breath, 2 will connect, but if I wait for his shoulders to drop, 2 will whiff. Look at that shit. So it doesn't have the best hitbox, is what I'm saying. But it is really fast. It's really fast. Comes out at 10 frames. And it's a high mid-string. It tracks both ways really strongly. Let's see if I can show you guys this real quick. So it tracks that way. It tracks both sides, if my testing is correct. Yep, and it should track walk to one side. Okay, so sidestep left, or sidewalk left it misses. And oh, maybe it doesn't track walk both ways. Let's see. Because what happens is the micro dirt particles, no one can still scratch with the disc if you don't know how to properly wipe the disc after cleaning. Huh. Sounds rough, man. I hope you figure that shit out. So this move isn't a natural combo, unfortunately. And it's minus, the full string is -8 on block. If my memory is correct. Oh, -9 on block, so it's even worse. But it's still safe. For a big mid hitbox that knocks down, it's still pretty good, especially in Yoshi's terms. But, so. It has a cancel if you hold back, which can be nice because it can help you steal some turns. And it travels a pretty good distance. So let's see. I just did 3 backdashes away, and it still connects. 1, 2, 3. I think around 3.5 it should whiff. Oh, 3.5 still works. So maybe at range 4. Range 4 it definitely is gonna whiff. Yeah. So it has a range of ultimately like 3.5. So something that you can do is whiff bait. So if you get around like here, ideally you want to get in a range where even if your opponent backdashes, it'll still connect with their guard at least. So around range 2 is ideal because even if Fang backdashes from here, it'll still connect with his guard. Because like I showed you earlier, it's range 3. But it's a good way of like randomly, you can catch an opponent every now and again with this by getting around here and going 2-1. Because they'll think you're whiffing and the string will fall up and catch them. What's up, Joe? The tracking on the second hit isn't alright too, or is alright. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good, especially at range. So the big thing about this is that on counter hit, it's a natural combo. Yeah, just so you know, guard all on second action. And the main use for this tool, it's not something you necessarily want to throw out because it is -9 on block, which means the opponent basically gets a free shot at you. You can move around and like kin parry or like do something or sidestep. It's not always the case that you have to eat a mix-up, but -9 is pretty heavy. So it's not necessarily something that you want to be blocked. And because of the range, it's something that you only, if you're looking for the counter hit combo. How you doing, Joe? It's good to see you, man. because of the range, it's something you want to use in what I like to call small Tekken. It's not my term. It's something I stole from a Discord and from people who use it. Shout out to Rango and Speed Kicks and Claire and all them. But the reason why you want to use it close up is because the strength of this thing is I-10. It's really fucking fast. But a weakness is that the first hit has really bad range. And also the second hit, even though it does have follow-up, it's really slow. There's only like 20 frames there that your opponent can stick something in and hit you with. What's up, Crownsta? Is it Crownsta? Crown Rasta. SV Crown Rasta. What's up, man? How you doing? So this isn't one of those strings that can be that is hard to like interrupt. It's pretty easy to interrupt. That being the case, so this is mostly an interrupt. Yeah, like you're poking, and either you are at like a certain frame state, or your opponent is, or you guys are having this weird standoff thing where you're like waiting for one of you to press a button. And if you want a quick and decent button, what's up, Rian? 2-1 is a good option because it's fast. If it counter hits, you get the full combo, and even if it is blocked, even though you'd rather it not be blocked, it's safe still. And it also wall splats, which is really nice. Something that I like to do is after 4-1+2, you see this gigantic pushback that this move has. If your opponent wants to run in and throw something, even though 4-1+2 is -7, you can stick a 2-1 in there if they try to retaliate. Because they'll have to, unless they have like a really quick far range move, they'll have to dash in to do something, which eats up their frames. So even though this is -7, it's still kind of like a neutral reset. And should they try to use a long range move, kind of like Fang's forward 3, they're at a range where their slower long range moves can be stepped or backdashed. Yeah. So there's some metagame for you there. But it's a really small move. It's nice. I believe it was a Season 2 buff that gave this to him. It's a counter hit fishing move. It's kind of like Yoshi's version of a Magic 4, although he has a different version of that with NSS counter hit 2, but that's another thing for a different day. So, to recap, it's a really quick move. It's good if you're looking for a counter hit fish, and although it is committal because you're -9 and it's difficult to move at that or do something at that frame disadvantage, it's still safe, and it tracks decently both ways. So if you're playing and you're messing around and you feel like you have a timing read on what your opponent's gonna do, 2-1 is a pretty good option. Pretty good option. And I think that's it. Yeah, I think that about covers it, guys. You guys ready to play some Tekken?